Okay, let's talk about the demographics of Willard Bay Reservoir, specifically the North Marinas, which is what we'll be talking about. This is a top-down picture from Willard Peak to the east of the reservoir, looking out over Willard Bay and the Salt Flats and the Great Salt Lake to the west. Here's a picture looking back up at Willard Peak from the North Marina of Willard Bay. Good thing about fishing on Willard Bay is the scenery is always great. Get some spectacular sunrises and sunsets if you're of that persuasion. Willard Bay Reservoir has been around since about 1964. It was put in about 10 miles north of Ogden along Highway 15. Was cut off in the Great Salt Lake marshes, built up at Earthville Dike, ended up with about 10,000 acres, with about 215,000 acre-feet of water. The fresh water comes from a canal system from the Weber and Ogden River. There are two marinas on the lake, North Marina, South Marina, each with boat ramps and camping and a lot of other facilities. We'll be talking strictly about the North Marina in this video. Good thing about Willard Bay in general and North Marina specifically is it's good year-round fishing for multiple species. We'll talk more about that later. This shows the general orientation of Willard Bay Reservoir. It's located right along I-15 in between Brigham City to the north, Ogden to the south. It's about 10 miles north of Ogden. And out here you got the salt marshes and the Great Salt Lake. This is a labeled map of Willard Bay, showing some of the spots that the anglers like to refer to when they're fishing. And again, we've got a South Marina, and we've got the North Marina up here, and that's one we'll be talking about mostly. To get to the North Marina, you go up I-15 to the 357 off-ramp, go back under the freeway, and then come back down here to the North Marina, at which point you can either fish inside the North Marina, or there's several spots right close by that are all good fishing just outside the North Marina. This is what the North Marina used to look like before all the quote-unquote improvements. You had the basic launch ramp, the entrance to the main lake, a big open area here, private docks for the guys keeping their boats there, fuel dock, ranger dock, and all this area back in here that used to be really good fishing. That's why I put the X's in there, but that was before the buoy line. Now they've got a big buoy line that comes all the way across here. No boats allowed back in here. That's protect the water park that they put in. New and improved. One thing that is new and improved is the fishing pier. That's handicap accessible, and the fishing's pretty good out around here. So that was a good plus. Here's another view of the mountains to the east of Willard Bay, shooting across the lake, across the marina. There's the northeast corner. Here's the ranger docks. This is what it looked like in the time before the buoys. This is what it looks like with the buoy line going across now. Heavy cable in between each of those buoys, so no boats getting back behind that line. And this is what it's designed to protect, is that water park, which is designed to get the ultimate amount of money out of each of the park visitors. Willard Bay is an irrigation reservoir and subject to drawdowns, but in the spring, after a good snowpack in the mountains and there's been good runoff, the water level comes up pretty good. This is the high water mark on the launch ramp in the North Marina. You can see the water level comes up past that. This is about June of one year, and looks like the catfish have been biting. Got a few in my basket there. At that point, the dock is probably sitting in about 12 feet of water at the end. Makes it really handy for the boaters, and the entrance is only a short distance away. Now, after a prolonged drought, or in this case, after lowering the water level to do some dike repairs, a really big difference in the water levels. You can only use the center part of the ramp. Both the east and the west side drop off, so you can't launch a boat. and very shallow channel out, so you can't launch a very big boat. And the whole upper end of the marina is nothing but a mud flat, and the end of the dock is setting over gravel. So we hope not to see that too often. This is what it looks like from the open water during low water levels. You can see the center part of the ramp you can use, the east and the west side that drop off. They put barriers there to keep people from trying to launch their boats, but it doesn't work. There's always some doofus that gets his ramp or his boat trailer stuck. Dock end at that point is over 2 to 3 feet of water, so you can still use it for loading and unloading passengers. But again, that's not an ideal situation. Some of the best fishing in Willard is during the spring and the summer months. That's when all the walleyes and wipers and a lot of catfish and other species come back inside the marina, and it's pretty good fishing. This is early summer. You can see there's still a little bit of snow in the high country up here, but everything's green and going. Again, this picture was taken before the buoys were in place. Fall fishing can also be really good when the water level is up to at least 10 or 12 feet at the back end of the marina. Better if it's 13 to 14 feet, but as long as there's shad and other food fish in there, the predators will be back in there, and so will the fishermen. As the fall goes on, usually around the 1st of November, you see a little snow in the upper parts of the mountains. That's when it's getting cold. The water temperatures drop down to about 50 or below, and leaves are falling off the trees. Still good fishing, just different. First snow hits the valley. You got snow on the docks here, but it's still open water, and I'm still going out fishing. Looks like I got a pretty good basket of perch. So the water's open all the way out to the main lake. But it doesn't take too long after that until the marina starts skimming over with ice. And if you've got a boat, you can launch and you can go out through 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch of ice, okay. But if you've got a float tube, you got to launch in here and then walk along the shoreline and break the ice, pulling the float tube behind you until you can launch in the open water when you get to the main lake. Once the ice hits, it thickens up to about 4 to 6 inches, safe enough to walk on and drill holes. You can get all the usual suspects like crappie, perch, catfish, catch a few wipers and a few walleyes back inside also. A lot of it depends on water level, but usually good fishing. Now, fishing at the North Marina is not strictly limited to fishing inside the marina. You can launch and go outside and fish several different areas around the marina that are very good fishing. One good spot is just right outside the marina and the channel that goes out, especially in the fall when the baby shad are dying off and a lot of big perch come in and feed on those baby shad. When there's a lot of perch in there, you see a lot of boats ganging up, either spot locked or anchored up 4 1/2 and vertical jigging for those big perch. Works really good at that time. Here I am in my float tube catching when you can see the ramp in the background and one of the channel marker buoys, and I'm really not that far offshore. So that's really the highlight of the fall fishing is fishing for those big perch. Now, right at the entrance to the marina, on both sides, you've got a kind of a rock point that comes out, and it can be really good fishing off of those rock points because it drops off into deeper water fairly quickly. Here's some guys with a little stringer of catfish that they got fishing off the North Dike. And here's a group of 3 anglers, all 3 of them hooked up at the same time, if you notice that. They're all hooked up on wipers. I caught them on mussels fishing just right off the shore when the wipers come in to do their false spawn thing. This is probably in May, and these guys in the boats are probably out here fishing for crappie off the humps out there. Here's a picture taken a few minutes after the first one that shows them bringing in their wipers. One here, one there, and this guy's still fighting his wiper. But good spot for wipers. It's also good late in the fall when the perch are in. Fishing for the perch, you'll also catch wipers and catfish and walleye and all kinds of other stuff too. So it's a multi-species fisheries out there. Now, fishing inside the channel itself can be good at times, but usually not when there's a lot of boats going in and out. This is the day in November when that was my car, as the only car in the parking lot. There were no other boats, and It's really cold. You can see there's snow up there. I've got gloves on. So on that day I got crappie, walleye, and wipers, all just right in the channel, not very far from where I had to launch my float tube. That's very definitely Willard Bay, North Marina at its finest. Okay, now let's talk about the fishing opportunities in the North Marina, Willard Bay in general. First of all, there's several what they call game fish species. These include wipers, walleyes, crappies, catfish, smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, yellow perch, bluegill, and green sunfish. On the other side of the ledger, we have the rough fish and the forage species. Rough fish are carp and suckers. A lot of carp, not too many suckers. Gizzard shad, that's the primary forage species in the lake, and there's tons of those. A long time ago, the DWR planted spot shell shiners and log perch, and there's not too many of those, but some of them do survive. Catch a few of them inside the marinas. There's also stray tiger, muskie, and trout that wash down in the Weber and Ogden River Canal system when Pineview spills. You don't catch many of them, but every year it seems like one or two people catch a tiger muskie, and during the colder months of the year you can catch a trout before the water gets too warm for them. One of the first species that everybody goes after in Willard in the early spring are the walleye. They usually spawn about April, and you can catch them in a lot of areas around the lake, especially around the rock dikes, but you can catch them inside the marina and on the outside corners where it's rocky also. This one had a white curly-tailed gulp minnow. Next big push inside is the crappie. They come in, start filtering in about even March or April, but the peak of them is right around Mother's Day in May. But May and June are both good months for crappie inside the marina. You'll find loose schools of them wandering around that you can catch by casting and retrieving jigs or fishing under a bobber. But a lot of the guys like to fish the docks, either fish them vertically with a vertical jig, or under a bobber, or even a slip bobber, depending on how deep the water is. Later in the year, sometime in October, when they take the boats out of the marina, out of the slips, they open up the docks to angler access. And so the public can go out and fish off the docks, and if you can find a school of crappie in an area, you can easily do pretty good. Still later, once the ice freezes thick enough to go out and drill holes, you can do pretty good catching crappie right off the ends of the docks. Of course, you'll always catch some perch, maybe a stray catfish or two, or other species also. There's wipers inside the North Marina a good part of the year. They start coming in May during the fall spawn when they're looking for a place to spawn. But some of the best fishing for them starts usually about July or August, after the baby shad have hatched and big shad balls wander inside the marinas. Once the shad get up about 2 inches long, then the wipers come in and feed on them. Times you'll have big boils back in the marinas, catching the heck out of them when all the boats are running outside the marinas to fish for them. Here's a limit of 3 I got during the summer one year. Probably caught 25 or 30 fish that day to keep the 3. Here's later in the year, early fall, you can see the leaves changing. That's another limit of 3 that I kept out of catching a whole bunch of them. And when they come up and start busting back there in the back of the marina, it's really great. You're back there all by yourself, no boats running over you. It's really, really great. There's catfish in the marina almost all year if the water level's high enough. It should be at least 10 or 12 feet, but 13 or 14 feet is better. But summertime is best because the water is warmer and the cats are more active. But you can also do pretty well in the fall on them, as long as the water level's up and there's food for them, they're back in there. Here's late fall. That's probably close to the 1st of November. I was back in behind the buoy line, vertical jigging for perch, and catching some 2-foot-long catfish on those light rods. That's a lot of fun. You can catch smallmouth bass back inside the marina. There's not a lot of them. There's a lot more of the smallmouths out around the rock dikes, but they do come inside the marina. Ditto for largemouth bass. There's not nearly as many largemouth in Willard as there are smallmouths, but occasionally you will catch one. They're a lot of fun when you catch them. Lots of bluegill in Willard, and they do like to come inside in the marinas, and you can catch them up to 8-10 inches, which are decent bluegill. Green sunfish don't get as big as bluegill, and they don't hang out in schools, but occasionally you'll find them around clumps of brush or rocks or under docks, individuals or small groups. The predators really like green sunfish because they don't get too big too fast, and so they're always available for a snack. So catfish, wipers, and walleye love to find little small green sunfish. One of the bonuses fishing inside the marinas, like fishing for crappie with this blue clear sparkle jig, is occasionally you'll find a real nice walleye cruising back in there feeding on the same stuff that the crappies are. During the fall, as I've mentioned, the big perch come back inside the marina to feed on the dead and dying baby shad, and they usually start about middle end of September and go clear on through ice up. Here's a couple in probably first part of November, a double. I got using 2 rods vertical jigging for perch. Once in a while you get a double, but usually it's one here and one there. This shows probably what's an average of perch inside the marina, 11 to 12 inches. You can see the docks in the background, and they're always fun, even no matter what size you catch. There's one a little bit bigger. This is probably a 12 or 13 incher. We do get them up to 15 inches in there. Once the snow gets down to the valley floor, everything gets cold. Water temperature drops down below 40 degrees, but the perch still keep hitting. They'll hit right up till ice up and then again onto the ice. So don't be a wimp. Don't stay off the water just because it gets cold, because that's when there's some of the best fishing for perch. One of the really good things about Willard and the North Marina especially is on any given day you can catch multiple species fishing the same lures and baits the same way, because the predators all feed on the same basic food source, the primary source being small gizzard shad. So here's a catch one day with 3 nice perch, 2 nice walleye, and a big catfish. Here's a mixed catch with several nice perch and 1 nice walleye. Here's a mix a little earlier before the perch come in with 3 wipers and 6 cats. Here's a mixed bag probably caught in May, a limit of 10 crappies and 3 wipers. That was a good catch. And here's a kind of a standard catch on a lot of days. 3 cats, 1 wiper, 1 walleye. But however you mix it up, it's fun. It's always fun to catch multiple species and see how many you can catch in a day using the same bait, same lures, same way. But always fun. Howdy. TubeDude here with the Willard Bay, North Marina. It's the last week of August. Next Monday's Labor Day, and temperature's been cooling down a little bit. It's only about 52 degrees here in the morning. We still got to see what the water temperature is. The purpose of this video is going to be to just highlight some of the fishing in the North Marina of Willard Bay, and hopefully we'll catch at least a couple, 3 species and be able to demonstrate some of the fishing capacity. It's a nice morning. Nice and calm even out on the outside out there. That's the entrance coming in. Well, let's see what the day brings. Here's a shot of the fishing pier. Put in a couple of years ago. It's handicap accessible. Park up in the parking lot and walk down and fish off the pier. Pretty good fishing sometimes, so it's a good place to bring somebody to catch catfish at least. Once in a while there's wipers, and then in the fall they get a lot of the perch, so it's a good place to fish. Well, those look like there's some shad or something on the bottom. Hopefully we'll find some fish along with them. It shows you the buoy line has been put all the way across the back end of the marina here. Got to keep the boats out. We've got to keep the boats out. That new water park setup that they've got. Got to protect that. Hey, this shows you some of the nice boats that they keep docked back here in the summer when the water's high enough. Usually take them out around end of October, 1st of November, before the ice gets in. Swinging around here, this is the fuel dock. And back here you have the restrooms and the concessions and the jet ski rentals, and of course the water park facilities. Okay, we fished for an hour and a half back inside the marina. Had a couple of half-hearted bites, but the storms and the wind and everything we've had the last few days, I think have kind of pushed them out in the open water. So I'm leaving the entrance of the channel right now. Gonna go out and try a couple of spots on the outside here, see if we can find something outside. Okay, there's a little shad ball. Hopefully something bigger in the vicinity. Gives you an idea of some of the shad out in the deeper water. Well, got something coming up in here on a whirly leg and a gulp, white gulp. Feels like a kitty fish. I'm almost positive that's what it is. Since I got no pride, I'll gladly accept a kitty fish. Been pretty slow today. And in this warmer water, still 70 degrees even after the cool off. This warmer water, he's got a little bit of catitude. Come on up. Might see we're out here off Eagle Beach. Well, actually we're right straight out off the end of the marina. Out here right in the channel. Wasn't getting anything on the inside, so thought I'd come out and fish the deeper water. It's actually 21 feet out here, seeing a lot of small shad balls. But not seeing a lot of other fish. The bad weather this last week kind of turned them down a little bit. Come on in. Let's see. That wasn't so good. Okay, come on in. There you go. I think I own you now. Bring it up here and take a look at what got you excited. It's a white whirly leg with a white gulp minnow. They like that stuff. Straight out off the marina. Couldn't get anything inside, so it came outside. Got another one hooked up. Ooh. And he doesn't act like he wants to come visit us. Probably at least a half pounder, you think? Come on up. He definitely got catitude. Got a little size to him too. Come on now, settle down. I'm going to be real nice to you. I'm going to invite you home to dinner. But you got to be nice. Oh yeah, looks like a decent sized kitty. And looks like he's got my other line there too. Always enjoy that. Okay, come on over. There we go. Okay, this one is on the blue and silver four-leaf leg with a minnow on it. And he's a halfway decent fish. Well, got another one coming in on the white four-leaf leg with a rope minnow on it. Pretty sure it's a catfish, but it's been giving a pretty good account of itself. Again, we're right straight out off the Marina. Nice sunshiny day. Pretty clear all day and not much wind. And come on up here. Let's see what you got. Get out the invitation card to invite him aboard. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Well, he's definitely one of those cats with catitude. Yep, here he comes. But not yet. Well, I'll show him about playing fair. I'll take him in for a weight loss program at the fillet station, and I'll take him home and invite him for dinner. Okay. There's another one on the white four-leaf leg with a white gulp minnow on it. Well, just on the way back into the Marina, and wouldn't you know it, I got another fish. Doggone it. Just hate it when that happens. Yeah, right. And I suspect it's probably another catfish. Bending the rod appropriately. That'll make 4 in the basket for the day. Lost a couple of others, had a few other light inquiry hits that didn't turn into anything. But if we get this one in, that'll make a couple of 3 good meals for my spouse and myself. Well, made it back in off the lake. Still kind of pretty out there. Water temperature got up to about 71. And didn't catch anything back in the Marina. Had a few bites, didn't hook anything. and didn't find much outside either. Didn't catch any cats until after about 10:30. Ended up catching about 4 of them, so that's the way it is sometimes. So what I'll probably be doing is adding some additional footage to this trip, just to show what you can catch inside the marina and some of the other opportunities for outside the marina. Hope you like it. Well, here we are, landing a nice big fat catfish up at Willard Bay, South Marina, back in the southeast corner. Been fishing for perch, but catfish don't read the directions. A lot of times they'll jump on the same stuff I'm using for perch. So get this one landed, check him out. Looks like I had a little bit of an inquiry on that rod on the right. Better see if there's something there. Yeah, there is. Oh, great. Now I got a catfish in the basket. Another one on the rod. That's going to be fun. You can see all the new buoys in the east side of the North Marina. Not supposed to be fishing on the other side of those. Won't say I don't. Okay, this cat's a pretty good size one, I can tell. He's got catitude. And I'm using a fairly light rod, so can't really horse him very well. Problem's going to come when I get him in here and have to net him. I've already got a fish in the net. What am I going to do? I have to put them both in the same net. That's going to take a little juggling. Of course, some problems are better to have than others. Come on, kitty fish. Showing too much catitude here. Come on up and join your buddy in the net. I promise I'll release both of you. Not after catfish today, I'm after perch. Okay, now he's getting up there a little bit. Strip out a little line on the reel so I don't pull the rod out of the rod holder when I reach down and dip that other one with the net. Okay, looks like he's just about tired enough to pull over the top of the net. Put it down there and let him join the other one. Now it's heavy enough weight, that's going to be a two-handed lift. I can't do it with one hand. Oh man, two catfish over 24 inches. Light rods, perch gear. That's almost too much fun. Should be against the law. Glad it isn't. Okay, here we are back in the southeast corner of the North Marina and fishing for perch. Got 2 rods going. As soon as it kicks in here, you'll see I've got a fish on the right rod and a bite on the left rod. So double your trouble. Bring the first perch in. Don't take the time to grab the net in my haste and fisherman's excitement. Just hold the line, reach over, grab the other rod, try to reel that in before I lose the fish. Looks like that's another nice fat porky 12 to 13 incher. That's 2 of them back to back, right on the same 2 rods. Good pair to draw to. By golly, I think we got us another one. Feels like a pretty good size one too. Yeah, it's perchy. And he's on the pink. Oh, another perch on the pink. That'll be real nice. Okay, we got another one. Feels like might be fairly substantial. Oh yeah. That's definitely a netter. Let him, bring him in. Looks like we got another one, folks. How about that? First double up of the day. That's also another pretty good size one. So, we'll do a double netter. That's how we like to do it. And steal another one on the chartreuse perch. That's turned out to be a real good one today. Let's see if we can get a good shot against the hills here. Chartreuse perch. Well, got something a little bit heavier than a perch on here. You never know when you're fishing for these perch. You can catch catfish or even wipers and occasionally a walleye. This has got a lot of shoulders on this little light ice rod that I'm using. I suspect it's probably a wiper. Either that or a cat with a lot of catitude. Let's bring it on up here and see what we got. Oh, now power dive. Yep, it is a wiper, by golly. That's really a bonus on a day when you're catching not much but perch. Definitely bend your stick and stretch your string a lot more. And a pretty good eating on the table, too. Come on aboard, Mr. Wiper. Thanks for playing. Looks like you like that little orange tiger dropper jig I like. Careful not to get cut on those gill plates. Let's see if we can hold him up and show off for the folks back home. Yes, sir, that makes for a mighty nice day when you're just fishing for perch. Catch a nice wiper like that.